Previously on Work of Art.
Show the world your art. It's time for your first challenge. Each of you will create a portrait of one of your competitors.
This is it, you know? This is the dare to be great situation.
Okay, it's time to open the gallery and let's see how you did.
I've used a color palette that is Jamie's palette to represent this graceful, open nature about her.
Miles, you're the winner of this challenge.
Cool.
And more than anyone else, you truly captured the essence of your subject. Amanda, your work of art didn't work for us. It's time for you to go.
Thank you. At stake for the winner,
A solo show at the world-famous Brooklyn Museum.
and $100,000 provided by Prismacolor Art Uninhibited.
This is Work of Art, the next great artist.
Fun, Jackie. We're eating and watching you exercise.
What about an affirmation for the day? I'm in control, and I'm staying one more day.
In the last challenge, I was surprised that I was in the bottom.
Sounds like you're being a little defensive.
I'm not responsible for your experience of my work. I'll stand up to these other artists. Those children had better bring it because I still have more energy than most 25-year-olds, and I know what I'm doing.
Did you take a shower?
No, you can go first.
I haven't been sleeping very well at all. The sleep deprivation seriously puts me at a disadvantage in this competition. Parts of my OCD that I'd worked really hard to get under control started coming back. So I'm just freaked out by it. The fact that I have immunity for the next challenge is like not something that's even mildly significant to me.
I ended up in the bottom 3 in my first gallery show. It's kind of like a kick in the butt to really bust ass in the next challenge. I've sat on my couch for years, pointing at everyone and saying I can do that better. So I am off my couch and now I'm gonna try.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Can I ask you all to assemble over here, please?
Congratulations, you've made it through your first challenge. Now, to find out about your next challenge, Simone will be taking you on a little walk. I'll see you at the gallery show. Good luck.
Okay, everyone, follow me, please. Oh, I like a bit of walking and moving. That's good.
Simone knocks on this big red door of this huge warehouse. The door starts slowly opening. I know something crazy is gonna be behind this door.
We see a big pile of junk.
Oh my God.
Are you kidding me?
What the
There's this huge pile of electronics, TVs, VCRs, video games.
My OCD makes that type of clutter is super hard for me to handle. So the first thought that I had is I have to organize this according to date, size, and function.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the guest judge of this next challenge, John Kessler.
Hey guys.
John is a phenomenal artist whose work is in major collections and museums all over the world.
John Kessler is the man for just kinetic sculpture, found object sculpture.
As you can see, we brought you to an appliance graveyard to find the materials for this next challenge. Your challenge is to use at least one of those appliances for your next work of art. How you do this is entirely up to you, but it has to be three-dimensional. It has to be sculptural.
Ugh, that is not good. I'm a painter.
Awesome. I'm very excited for this challenge. I'm very much a versatile artist because I work with a lot of mediums. I'm just going to trust that I'll be able to use my strengths to utilize whatever's in front of me.
Objects have memory. They have a life. There's something romantic and poetic and mysterious about a found object. They might have been under a Christmas tree. They might have been the possession of a dead man. And I think that's something you should think about as you pick your found object.
You've got exactly 30 minutes to choose your materials and to put them in the bin over there. You also have $100 to shop in a hardware store for additional supplies. You have until midnight tonight, as well as all day tomorrow to work on your pieces. That's a hell of a long time. John, can you give us any advice for our artist?
Don't play it safe. Be courageous. Don't get her electrocuted.
Your 30 minutes starts now.
I am not a sculptor. I've never used found objects. If I get as much stuff as possible, I'm hoping that something will come to me.
Everyone is going bat out of hell kind of thing. I'm trying to look at things a little more carefully.
Awesome.
Can someone help me with this television? I'm sorry.
I found this beautiful, huge, old classic television. And from there, I knew what I wanted to do.
I'm attracted to these little tubes and wires and colorful, shiny objects. They're speaking to me.
I just got really overwhelmed, so I figured, like, hell, this will be a good time to catch up on some sleep.
Miles is sleeping right in the middle of everything. And I was like, oh my God.
Artists, you have 10 more minutes.
Now I gotta reorganize.
Traditional art can be appreciated just from more like a visually beautiful standpoint, but I think conceptual art places a little bit more importance on the idea of the piece. When I woke up, I just decided I'm gonna make a conceptual sculpture about sleeping.
You gonna be able to wheel that back?
I think so, yeah.
I like spinning with these.
Placing an order for some concrete. Sure. Okay. A couple weeks before I came here, I was literally selling clothes at a consignment store to pay for art supplies. I've always had this fantasy that I'd get sponsored for making art.
I feel really at home in hardware stores. My two favorite places, like makeup, hardware. You can't go wrong.
I'm making just two child figures, half human and half machine. So I'm getting spray foam and plaster. There you go.
Do you know that we have caulk guns?
15 inches by 12.
I love this kind of work, so I'm really excited to get my hands dirty.
Where can I cut wood?
You can't cut it? I'm a traditional realistic painter. I have a really great idea, but I'm nervous about the technical execution. Like just, rectangles. I really need a cut.
We actually have a lot more time than we did last time. When you have that much time, you think and think and think. I'm just gonna pick an idea and run with it.
I was gonna use this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, you can't use it, no.
Or not.
I have it in my hand. Can I look at my stuff and then... Hey!
Neo's like really, really funny, but she does things that are kind of annoying sometimes.
I'm making a shooting cake for shooting out the rain.
I'm gonna do a type of photo collage that's mounted to one of the televisions. I took all these really beautiful photos of the skyline. I was thinking about this connection between appliances, progress, cityscapes.
It's so smooth, like put a Fleetwood Mac or Led Zeppelin in the 8-track.
I'm going there with you right now.
My idea stemmed around me picking up an 8-track player and remembering when I first saw it, at a friend's house. We snuck into his brother's room, kind of had a crush on the older brother. Look at this, so sexy.
We're taking old things to give them a new life. I just thought about the aging process in general because I'm this, older person. So I think maybe I'm going to be able to tie the materials into being a personal expression.
I like it already. It looks good.
It's gonna be a tank. I'm hoping to make it waterproof.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be my challenge.
Jacqueline is building this, what looks like an aquarium.
Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
It looks like she's thinking of putting a TV inside with water, a la Jeff Koons, I'm not sure.
She caulk it. She didn't really know how to put glue on a surface.
Will you kind of just show me how to get started and then I
Jackie needs some help, so I have a ton of caulk left.
Wipe this part of the glass all the way up to the caulk. But try not to touch the caulk, because then you're just gonna like dilute the caulk, and then the caulk is gonna leave like a residue on the glass. So what I'm doing,
Oh, man, you really know how to work that caulk.
What are you doing?
Like this bottom's gonna be concrete with like old school, so you actually see like these objects buried, you know.
I thought it would be really great to show the disposal of product.
So it like references American culture.
Nicole is a bit intimidating. I didn't want to be influenced by anyone else's sculptures, but I'm freaking out, so I decided I want to smash this thing.
Whoa! Give me a heads up.
At this point, I have no idea what I'm gonna make.
Coming up on Work of Art.
Miles is spreading toxic chemicals everywhere.
That's quite a major undertaking.
I know that I have to perform a miracle. So our challenge is to create a sculpture incorporating the found objects we got from the electronics graveyard, and the piece has to be three-dimensional. I'm envisioning making these two child figures that are being overrun by electronics that are raising them, that have almost birthed them. I really want to win this challenge. I approach every work of art that I do like it's my last piece. If I die after this piece, I want this piece to be the one that represents me.
I'm not really sure what the concept is at this point. I'm just thinking of like ideas and words. Zebra, vacuum, tornado.
After pulling keyboards apart, I'm never going to look at them the same way again. TV has now replaced established religions in a way. So I'm making an altarpiece, essentially, for my TV to sit on, and then adding Day of the Dead type things. Symbols like skulls, hearts, crosses, flowers, gold, gaudiness. I definitely think it's important to pay homage to traditions.
Like everybody else is smashing their objects, putting them together into something new, but I'm trying to preserve what they are and create a new environment for them.
I was thinking of something of like this housewife that's like bored.
That's a neat idea, though.
Thank you.
I think I'm one of the few artists in the room who's taking really what most people would term like a conceptual approach. Like I work with a lot of different ideas, but I keep on reducing these ideas until it becomes something simplified, but still retains its complexity. So there's kind of like 3 TVs watching another TV.
That's awesome.
Trog's pretty well known in conceptual art circles. I'm not sure what he's working on. It could be pretty amazing, though.
I like that, dude.
We'll see.
That's awesome. If something works, you just hit the jackpot.
I totally felt like Dr. Frankenstein. Like I had seen like the Littlest Television. It's so cute.
Can I have it?
I'm kind of like the MacGyver of art. You know, if you give me a pile of junk, I'm going to turn it into something. The piece that I'm making is a sculpture of a post-apocalyptic future corpse.
I think I'm seeing somebody's broken leg.
Maybe I'm doing a good job then if you already caught that. I got in a motorcycle accident in 1996. All my brain damage was on the left side of my brain. I was always a real creative kid, but once I had the damage to the left side of my brain, I started obsessing about making art. But I lost my train of thought. That's part of the accident.
Hello, everyone. I thought I would just check how you're doing. So maybe we'll start with Tom.
Hey, Simone.
How are you doing?
How are you?
So, tell me, what are you doing here?
Sort of like a family watching TV, except it's 3 TVs kind of watching another giant TV.
Another TV. So, right.
And then maybe cut out phrases or conversation that these 3 TV/persons may be having while watching this program.
Okay. You're used to work with sculpture, no?
Yeah, but not in any traditional form. I'm not one of those persons who can just walk down the street and collect things and put it together. So this is slightly new for me. Like I'm usually a little more predetermined what I want to collect. But
so you're outside of your comfort zone?
Slightly, but you know, enjoying it nonetheless.
Okay, well, go for it, and I look forward to coming tomorrow.
Great, thanks. Bye.
Good talk. Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Oh my God, there's a major operation going on.
Yes, it is. I'm making a tomb.
A tomb?
Yes.
And what are you burying?
The objects that I found, oldest being at the bottom,
Mhm.
and then the newer objects will be on top.
It's really a reflection about time, and there's something quite raw about what you've
Yeah.
done so far, and it's important to make it visually appealing at the same time.
The more I'm getting it a little bit dirty, like
Yes.
around, I'm like, I kind of like that.
So far, I see that as the appeal of the work. Great.
Thank you.
I value Simone's opinion because he has seen more art than a lot of people on this earth. So that kind of approval means a lot.
That's a lot of cable.
I like the idea of like the old stuff becoming beautiful.
There is great beauty, I must say, just in the cable, just looking at them
I
as
just
they are.
untangled it all from a big mess.
Yes. She was the only one who didn't choose television sets or big chunky items.
Yeah.
And by just choosing the cable, it's like choosing lines of a drawing.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you have plenty to do tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah,
thank you. Hi, Abdi.
I want to make like these little kids controlled by this technology. So they're going to have TVs as heads, and they're going to be playing video games that are connected to one another.
That's quite a major undertaking. You're not concerned about time. I mean,
Not yet.
It's an ambitious project.
I'm definitely a serious overachiever. I mean, I don't know if I'll have time to finish it, but I'll feel better if I just go for it.
It's still early, obviously, to see what.
It's still. I need to get going.
Okay, good.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Abdi.
Thank you.
Artists, you have a lot of work ahead of you. I can't wait to see how you're doing. See you later.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Careful the wind, dude.
Yeah. I need to start building the form of the figure out of spray foam just to take up a lot of the interior space. So windy.
It's not about the wind, it's about the consistency of it.
Stupidly, I bought the cheaper brand. The stuff I usually use like clouds up and it's really sturdy. Somehow I'm gonna figure out how to still make the sculpture a viable piece of art.
Miles is spreading toxic chemicals everywhere, and people are starting to, get headaches and feel a little sick.
This is not gonna work. Miles, do you have a cover for that bin?
Yeah.
Thank you.
To fully get at how I was feeling when I walked into the appliance graveyard, I'm making the hardest place to sleep possible. I started making the bed. I screen printed an electrical map on the top of my fiberglass mattress. And then I made 2 concrete asps just for the sake of having an icon of like tension there. I'm just placing a small weight in the center so the form goes like that.
It's been cool to peek over and watch the people's process and what they're doing, but I don't understand, Miles. That's just weird.
The most cursed ass ever.
I still don't know what it all means.
There's also that plaster wrap. So like you put it in and then you wrap it.
The spray foam was just a waste of time. So I think I'm gonna have to focus all my attention on making one figure. Even though we have all of tomorrow, I know that I have to perform a miracle to finish my piece.
Another day, another mess.
Coming up on Work of Art.
I am angry.
Like have him trying to escape,
Cool.
Judith is kind of a nut.
I'm starting to feel a little hopeless.
So what do you guys have left to do today?
I have a lot to do.
Down to the wire for you?
We have all of today, but with sculpture, there's so many variables. Is something going to be balanced? Are the materials going to be structurally sound? Even though we've been given more time for this challenge, I'm going to eat up all of this time.
Yeah, look at this. Our challenge is to make an interesting sculpture using found objects. I'm moving at a decent pace and trying to not make any fatal mistakes.
Challenge to make junk not look like junk.
Yeah.
I was thinking about just taking the back of this and mounting that on top of this.
I'm hearing.
And it'll be the most beautiful, conceptual, minimalist piece, and they'll love it.
You look like a mad scientist over here.
Completely took apart everything.
Really?
I'm gonna let the chords like start to just be themselves.
Judith is kind of a nut, but I love her. She's not afraid to explore, but I'm not sure about her piece.
Okay, so this is what I want to do, is like just like throw them in and like have them trying to escape, you know. The old chords kind of took on a life of their own. Actually, I went back to a childhood experience for myself of playing with little miniature things and enjoying that.
I feel pretty confident. I thought very fast. I got all the materials I wanted. My concept was strong. And looking around the room, I just feel like mine visually might jump ahead.
I'm building my sculpture in paper instead of spray foam to get the basic forms before I start sculpting it in plaster. My piece is extremely connected to me personally. It's almost a self-portrait. I grew up, so much of my identity, so much of the way I carry myself is a creation of the stuff I used to watch. Yeah, I watched a lot of TV, you know. I played a lot of video games. I'm only realizing now how much of that made me who I am today, for better and for worse.
Trong, what are you gonna call yours?
I'm gonna write a white text that says WWTFD.
What would Trong do? Wait.
This is here, maybe here, painting here.
I'm concerned about Jamie's piece. She's so literal, but it seems sort of dead.
It's coming rather long, though.
Yeah, it's coming along.
It looks good, dude.
I like it.
I do too.
Oh, that is great.
I blocked off the shit on the warning label, so it says warning, this is a shock, and should be.
Somebody hand me a pencil real fast or something. I'm more behind than I want it to be. I'm really worried that I'm not going to be able to finish this piece.
Oh my God. I know that this tank is not gonna hold water and I'm freaking out. I'm starting to feel a little hopeless about this project. It'll be okay. So I'm starting to think of alternative ideas, but I unfortunately ran out of time.
Okay, guys, let's go. It's midnight.
Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing here?
What a day. Oh my God.
Are you okay? Let's just go sleep here.
I'm not gonna win, but I want to be around long enough to learn. Watching Miles was like really interesting. Like how
Amazing. How does somebody know how to use a silk screen?
how to use concrete, plastic, all this. You know, he is an installation artist, so he's got like all those tools already, you know, like in his brain.
Hey guys, time to go to the studio.
Okay.
Today is the big day for the second challenge where one person will be eliminated.
I think it's just funny that you put a hate reality TV in.
We have a little less than 2 hours to finish everything, and I don't have too much to do.
I'm gonna clean up first and then take a nap. You wanna cuddle?
Are you Big Spoon or am I Big Spoon?
Whatever you want, man. I'm down for anything. Let's do this.
Still working on it.
It just was like, you know when you play Dollhouse and you put little things around and stuff?
Yeah, it's very landscapey.
I'm curious, do you mind telling me where you're placing this?
right above my bed.
Abdi is running around like a maniac. He might not have enough time to finish his piece.
Whoa.
How many minutes? Somebody, tell me. 5 minutes. Oh, are you serious? I'm noticing like a lot of cracks in my sculpture that I gotta fill. So I'm just touching up this here, chiseling that away there.
Hello, everybody. Your time is up.
So time's up and I am angry. I just needed 5 more minutes. It's done, like the sculpture is good. I'm just really worried about how the judges are gonna receive my piece.
I hope you're happy with your work. And now it's time to get ready for the gallery show. So, let's go.
Coming up on Work of Art.
I just decided to take an hour-long nap at the gallery.
It doesn't really feel like a sculpture.
I actually think that you're not making art here.
I just got it in my hair. What?
Gorilla Glue?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably cutting that out.
Really?
Oh, definitely.
Are you serious? It won't come out with water?
No, no way.
Oh my god.
And I ripped it
It's
out.
the worst project I've ever done in my entire life.
Gorilla Glue is literally the strongest glue that you can get. The only thing that you can do at that point with Jackie is to just lie your ass off.
I would die if I had to cut off my hair.
No, you're not gonna have to.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, yeah.
I hate you.
Good evening, everyone. Before we start the gallery show, I want to reacquaint you with your judges. Critic, Jerry Saltz. Art advisor and gallerist, Jeannie Greenberg-Rowaton. Gallery owner, Bill Powers.
Hey, guys.
And you remember our special guest artist this week, John Kessler.
Hi, everybody.
Artists, we took you to an appliance graveyard, and you were told to create a piece incorporating at least one of those appliances. All right, judges, let's see how they did.
I made this piece because my experience at the appliance graveyard reminded me about how important sleep is because of how overwhelmed I felt lately. I just decided to take an hour-long nap at the gallery. I just don't want anyone to like poke my butt.
I don't understand performance art. I don't know why people do it. Sleeping on top of your art. It's kind of that cry for attention thing.
I really have to hand it to Miles. Wow, like, what a little genius.
Appliances are removing the content, the narrative.
I feel like I really put a lot of thought into my piece. I didn't just take the thing, smash it, and stick it in some random thing and put it on a pedestal.
Once you use major symbols like skulls and hearts and crucifixes, very easily can rub people the wrong way.
He took wire from the TV and made his own barbed wire.
So every time you see it, it's just a little bit different. My piece feels much sweeter than I expected it to among all the bigger, louder pieces. For me, it's sort of a tender, quiet moment.
I didn't realize any of that junk worked. That's kind of a revelation.
There's like 30 objects in here, all electronic appliances that have been discarded.
Flipping the television over on its side, I wanted the viewers to come in through the top and treat it like a burial ground.
They're looking at my work, I don't know what they're saying. I started seeing the old chords, all the little bits and pieces as a kind of landscape. All of those things kind of took on a life of their own.
This piece was about a bunch of objects, and they were all interacting, and they were sort of creating something else.
I was like thinking about Baroque sculpture and how you'd have that like that serpentine quality to the statues.
I really wanted the television to be in water, so I came across some rope and saw a clear trash bag and thought, maybe I can pull something off.
With this one, first we're gonna drown it, and then we hang it.
The inspiration for my piece was an 8-track player and going into a friend's older brother's bedroom. The objects reskinned in this decorative tattoo make these objects sexy again.
He's giving us little presents, little gifts.
My piece is a found art sculpture of a futuristic corpse, completely assembled out of these objects that we depend on every day.
This is a leg. This is the other leg. Oh, that's the penis.
My piece is supposed to replicate this playful conversation between these objects that normally don't talk to each other. I think I'm one of the few artists who's a conceptual artist, meaning I value the ideas behind the work as much as I do how it looks.
So self-referentiality up the wing walk.
When we went to the client's graveyard, it did look like a cityscape. In my work, I've opened up the object and created another narrative inside of it. Of course, I think I'm in the top.
Is that a diaper that is?
Those are tidy whities.
The fact that some of the craftsmanship is lacking bothers me, but the fact that it's like defying gravity just brings this dynamic quality to the piece that I'm super happy about.
We would like to see the following people for the quiz. Judith, Miles, Nicole, Trong, Jamie, and Abdi. The rest of you can head out and get some rest. For the remaining artists, we'd like to find out more about your pieces. Okay, Nicole, let's start with you. Do you have one of these when you were a kid?
I had something very similar. This was actually made in the 70s, but I feel so connected to it. Like, I've lived with it. Our consumer culture is really based around electronic objects. We keep discarding and discarding, and I wanted it to be a tomb.
Don't you normally walk into a tomb like a mausoleum?
This is a particular, almost like a burial site, so I wanted the viewer to walk around and then peer inside.
There's just a beauty and romanticism in this piece.
And this romanticism, this sadness, this loss, I think is echoed also in the materials.
Okay, Judith.
Well, when we went to the electronics graveyard, we were faced with so many different things. I didn't have a plan. Little by little, I started getting kind of a meaning out of the chords and that they carry current and it's about energy. And like this thing suggests maybe it's picking up sounds from the universe or whatever, but obviously, you know, it doesn't. The wires reaching out and all this, the grid, you know. I mean, it had a story, but it was just that. I think it means it. Okay, thank you.
Well, first of all, there's a craziness about the piece.
That's for sure.
Which came out a little bit when you were explaining it.
Actually, for me, it feels like a model. It doesn't really feel like a sculpture.
I see this as a drawing. The wires become the lines of a pencil.
Yeah, it was all supposed to be a little bit, you know, ambiguous that way.
I think maybe a little too ambiguous.
Jamie. I imagine that these two pieces have lived for years and years and years, and they froze in time, and they died doing their good service.
Well, that's what it is.
There is a lot of me in this, embracing something that's very cheesy. I mean, look at how I'm dressed. I look like a 70-year-old mother of the bride or something. I recognize this is cheesy Americana, but I hand-painted everything. I didn't screen print it. There's a care that went into it.
This is a sort of a classic problem when a painter tries to make sculpture and they're not dealing with these things as objects. It's a piece of a set.
We don't feel the life here. I don't hear the hum. I don't hear the buzzing of the light. I'm not feeling any of that energy.
It is very much like a store display. I actually think that you're not making art here.
You have created a mystery here. I'm not engaged with that mystery. I'm not curious about this. And I'm moving on to the next piece.
Miles.
This whole piece for me was about setting up the most uncomfortable environment for me to try and fall asleep in. It's just been an issue with me since I've been in the competition where I've been sleeping so poorly.
I got to know about you, the artist, and about artists in general. I liked that you activated the sculpture with your own body.
Part of the performance aspect of this was my awareness of the kind of sensual nature of watching someone sleep.
I would say it goes beyond that. I would say that the butthole and all of the signifiers in this piece are all about this sense of the body.
In all, this is the most theatrical work, yet at the same time, it was the most fragile. That is very difficult to achieve.
Thank you, Miles.
So I decided to create sort of a generic couch with 3 TVs representing a family unit of couch potatoes watching a TV, and they're both kind of having a dialogue between themselves.
Trong, where are you in this piece?
There is this referencing to, a personal aspect of it, which is that we're all in this process together. In this reality television show, we love watching it, we are fixated to it.
And what does up next WWTFD mean?
It's a sort of an insider art world reference. It means what would Tom Friedman do?
Who is Tom Friedman?
Tom Friedman is a conceptual artist. He gives himself a project. It's something like, I have 12 hours, I have 10 cereal boxes, and I need to make the Millennium Falcon. And so it's a playful reference, and I wanted to keep the piece playful as well.
But you know a lot, but we learn nothing about Trong.
Like, that's something I might agree with.
Hey, Trong, I liked, and you talked about a playfulness, and I had really, gotten that.
It has no life in it.
And where I'm
Miles, do you have a comment?
I'm sorry. This piece is distractingly boring. And I think the core ideas that you have are there. I just don't think they were realized.
I mean, that's an opinion. I think we all have opinions about things.
If you were going to do a retrospective of your work, would this piece be in it?
I'm not sure.
Time to move on to the next piece. Abdi.
I wanted to have these kids that had televisions in heads as if they were almost products more of the media than their actual natural parents.
I really see it as a kind of self-portrait of you as adult and as child.
And the head has so much life for me. I love the way it's sort of off to the side, looking down.
How you handle the materials, the posture and the pose is pretty great.
Yeah, and it's completely contained. Like, the joystick that he's playing with is connected to his belly button. Which
It's the umbilical cord.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's connected. That's his life. That's his lifeline.
Thank you, artists. Please return to the studio while we deliberate.
I found that what was said to Trong to be really over-the-top harsh. It was like...
I thought it was really a good show.
The spirit of this challenge is making all of this junk personal. And these artists took it on.
I would say Nicole really stepped up on this one. She showed us her sense of materials in a way that was pretty thrilling. There was a kind of archaeology, and it was pretty amazing to look into the sculpture.
It's got a lot of depth and integrity, and at the same time, it's got a very beautiful touch.
What about Abdi?
I thought it was interesting that he was the only artist that took on gaming culture and trying to make some commentary about that.
Yeah, the subtlety of having the boy man, I love that. Beautiful.
Even though the head is a TV, I felt some humanity in a very alien-looking creature.
I love that there was someone asleep in the art gallery. That adds just yet another layer of vulnerability that I found pretty exciting.
You know, having the 2 anuses on either side, I thought that was overkill.
So why don't we move on to the less successful pieces in this challenge?
Trong made the mistake in thinking that by showing us how much he knows about the art world, that somehow that would elevate the piece.
His insider art joke was just too insular. I was very disappointed with Jamie's work. It really fell flat.
I do feel there was such an opportunity to manipulate these appliances, and she stuck them there.
Well, you can just tell she was outside of her comfort zone completely.
I thought you guys were too nice to Judith. She had no idea of what her intent was with this piece, and she didn't explain at all during the crit what she was trying to accomplish.
No, but she knew she did not go far enough.
And it looks like a bunch of junk on a table.
Well, it looks like we've got all our answers.
All right.
This challenge was about taking something old and abandoned and breathing new life into it. You all did that, but there can only be one winner tonight. The winner will receive immunity and cannot be eliminated next week. Congratulations. Miles, you made a true work of art.
You jumped off the cliff and you landed on your 2 feet. You put yourself in the work, literally, and we learned a lot about you in the process.
Winning 2 challenges is amazing. If I can keep having really great food and free beer and free art supplies, I would stay here as long as they let me.
You all can return to the studio and send down your colleagues.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Honestly, I didn't think I was going to be in the bottom 3. Just can't see it. No. Hey, so who won?
Miles.
Yay, Miles!
2 wins. That is awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Bye.
It's been said that good art is not what it looks like, but how it makes us feel. Your work didn't make us feel anything.
Jamie, you gave us theater, you gave us store design, but you didn't give us sculpture, and that was the challenge.
Trong, you took 4 TVs and you gave us 4 TVs, and this just wasn't enough.
Judith, your piece had a lot of energy, but it completely lacked direction.
Judith, Jamie, Trong, one of you is leaving us tonight. Your work of art didn't work for us. I'm sorry, it's time to go.
I've been a professional artist for a long time now. Yes, everyone has an opinion. They're entitled to their opinion, and that's the way I'm going to take it. I'm going to try to keep my dignity. I'm out of here. Oh, sorry. I think it's a very positive experience for me. I mean, regardless of what the judges say, I'll continue making what I'll make, and I'm very confident in what it has to say and how relevant it is.
Coming up on Work of Art. You guys wondering what these question marks are for? Follow me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. This is the best day of my life.
And there's one more thing.
So I'm doing this partially nude photo shoot. It was like she was on a big set, but she's really in the bathroom.
It's really not a good thing to make your public and your reader feel stupid.
I think that you've made a complete failure.
To learn more about Work of Art, the next great artist, visit BravoTV.com.
Matches, pretty matches.